Dear boomers, there comes a moment in every life when the noise fades, the calendar quiets, and the world we once moved through quickly becomes still. For many of us in the second half of life, this stillness can feel unfamiliar, even unsettling. We've spent decades tending to others, working, caregiving, surviving, showing up with courage and grace. And now in this chapter, we are invited into a different kind of presence, one shaped not by doing, but by simply being. Subscribe and like the channel, and there is a link below to join the Dear Boomers community. Loneliness often slips in through these moments of stillness, not as dramatic arrival, but as a soft shadow settling over the heart. It shows up in the late afternoons when the lights begin to change, or in the quiet of a house where laughter once echoed. It can feel like a loss or a longing, or simply the ache of unshared moments. But here in the Dear Boomers community and on this YouTube channel, we learned something powerful. Silence is not empty. Silence is alive. Silence is an invitation. When we allow ourselves to sit with our own heart without rushing past the discomfort or judging what arises, we discover that loneliness is not a verdict. It is a message, a teacher, and it is a doorway. Take a breath. Feel where loneliness lives in your body right now. Maybe it sits behind your ribs. Maybe it pulses at the back of your throat. And maybe it whispers, "You're on your own now." Let us meet that whisper with a different truth. We are not alone. You are not alone. I am not alone. You have yourself. You have your memories. You have your inner wisdom earned through a lifetime of trials and triumphs. And you have this community walking the path right beside you. This chapter is an invitation to explore the quiet, gently, courageously, without expectation. Silence as a companion to your everyday life. And as we age, the outer world grows quieter, but our inner world becomes richer. Silence can feel like an unwelcome guest at first, yet when we choose to sit with it, we begin to notice something remarkable. The silence isn't here to imprison us. It is here to introduce us to ourselves. We may have been too busy in the past to notice how to do this, but think back to a moment when loneliness entered unexpectedly. Maybe it arrived the day after a holiday gathering. Maybe it showed up after saying goodbye to a beloved friend or partner. Maybe it crept in during a slow evening when the world felt far, far away. And recall that moment, not to relive the pain, if there was any pain, but to recognize your own resilience. You are still here. You are still breathing, and you are still capable of wonder, of curiosity, and love for all things. And in that quiet, ask yourself, what is this silence trying to tell me? What does my heart need? What have I ignored because life was too loud? Rediscovering lost joys. Let's think about this. Loneliness often points to something tender within us that wants attention. Maybe a passion you tucked away. Maybe a friendship you drifted away from. And maybe a dream you told yourself was too late to pursue. Not true. Not true at all. It is never too late to begin again. At any moment, we can do this. Take out your journal and ask yourself, what did I love before the world got busy? What activity used to bring me back to myself? What have I wanted to try but never allowed? And write without censoring. This page is your sanctuary. It's your home within your heart. Turning toward yourself with kindness, very important. When loneliness surfaces, so does self-criticism. You might hear, I should be stronger. I should not feel this way. Everyone else seems to be doing fine, but not me. Let us challenge that in this moment. Loneliness is not a failure. It is not evidence of inadequacy. It is simply your heart's way of asking for connection, internal and external. Imagine speaking to yourself the way you would speak to a dear friend, with love and tenderness and patience. And that is the way you should speak to yourself. This is how healing begins, shaping a sanctuary within your heart. Look around your living space. Ask yourself, does this environment comfort me? Does it reflect who I am becoming? Create a small nook, a chair by the window, a corner with soft lighting, a space that feels like a gentle exhale. Fill it with items that warm your spirit. A photograph, a candle, a book of poetry, a plant that greets you with quiet devotion, a statue of a saint. Let this be your place of return, your inner chapel, your sanctuary for reflection, creation, and rest. Listening for what wants to be born. Silence is not just absence. It is a presence. It is a presence that invites new beginnings into your here and now. As you sit in the quiet, ask yourself gently, what is the life asking of me now? What is the longing that is arising that I can no longer ignore? What connection, what purpose, what joy wants to emerge from this silence? Loneliness becomes less frightening when we see it is not as a void, but as fertile ground, rich soil where new chapters can take root. As we get into the new year, we can use these reflections very meaningfully. A blessing for the journey. As you deepen into this tender inquiry, may you remember you are wiser than you know, and you are stronger than you feel, and you are more connected than you realize. You just have to find that connection within the silence, within the quiet, within the resilience that is you. The silence around you is not the end of anything. It is the beginning of a profound return to yourself, to presence, and ultimately to joy. That is what we will be discussing over the next week or two. We will return to silence as the greatest teacher that we may not know we have.